Let's build a box for a 15-inch subwoofer today, guys. This is not going to be a step-by-step tutorial. This is going to show the flow of how I did it a little bit, but this is not going to be like, cut this piece of wood to this size, glue it here. It's going to be, this is roughly what I'm doing, these cuts I'm making, cut them, assemble it. This is going to be just kind of a flowy video. This is not a how-to, this is a let's build. A little bit different in my opinion, just to state what this is. So, let's go. So we're building it for a Rockford Fosgate P315, one of the three I have, just kind of as a hot project. Plus I already have some plywood kicking around. So we're going to make it a ported, and they don't have spec for a slot ported. They only have one for a arrow port, and I'm going to build one with slot ported. So I've done this before, and I've just kind of done some rough math with port volume and the port area and length. Did some math, blah, 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 blah. Altered the dimensions of the box a little bit to make it more the way I want it to look. A little bit deeper. Drew it horribly there. External dimensions. Boop, boop, boop. You'll see how it comes together. Cut list, very simple. Mostly 12 and a half by 12 and a half by 12 and a half, and there's only two pieces that don't have a 12 and a half dimension, so that's going to be easy to cut. So, the plywood we're using today is 3/4 inch maple. There's a tag if you want to look up the specifics. But the reason I choose this over MDF, which I've done before with boxes, it's stronger, more water resistant, we'll get about that. And I like working with it better. But a sheet like this, I picked up in Canada. This is while we have a horrible dollar to the Americans, for about 30 bucks. The reason why it was so cheap, I bought multiple pieces, the reason why it's so cheap is because the glue they used to manufacture this piece of plywood, it's more like your white wood glue, which isn't very water resistant. So it's just like MDF, you can't, or Ranger board, whatever you call it, you can't really get much moisture around it or water on it. So it's no benefit like a proper piece of plywood would be, like an $80 sheet would be quite water resistant, but this is about the same water resistance as MDF. But yeah, that's what we're using today. So let's get cutting. So I've marked 18 inches in. Actually, it's about 18 1/8 inches in because I leave a little extra because this is the top, what I'm going to call the tops of the baffle, and then the back, so that hoses the baffle of the speaker enclosure. And since the top and bottom, they don't have to be precise, and you can easily sand off and make everything nice and square later, which I'll show probably later. But luckily this box is only 23 3/4 inch long, so we can get both the back and the baffle out of this first rip. Let's go. Boom. A little bit more than 18 inches. A little bit more than I thought, but perfect. Okay, our three rough cut pieces are right there. Our whole box is going to be made out of those three pieces. And this leaves us with over half a sheet of plywood left, to give you a perspective on how much stock you need to actually build one of these boxes. But we got lucky on this one because our actual usage and our cuts were actually pretty good for the plywood. Very efficient. So, finished squaring these two 12 and a half pieces up to exactly 12 and a half. I can't remember if I told you, I ripped them before with the skill saw at 13. Fixed up one side on here at 12 3/4 and then fixed up the other at 12 and a half to make it perfectly parallel edges. You don't need to do that, you just need to make better rip cuts with the skill saw. If you don't have a table saw, we got that. Let's cut them up into other smaller pieces now. Quick shot of what we're doing here. Measuring. This is what I like about this. That there is our waste pile so far. That's it. All little strips and then one piece that's like 4 inches by 12 and a half. Like this a lot. Yeah. So I've started with the pre-assembly here, so we're going to give you a quick rundown on how I'm doing it. Got drill, countersinking bit, impact, being careful with it. You just line it up, two pieces together. Line it up nice and square like. I eyeball all my countersinks. You can measure if you really want to. Make yourself a screw. I'm using 1.25 inches, or 1.5 inches actually. Decking screws. Not too fancy. At this point I'm just putting 2 in each corner. Corner, you know what I mean, edge. We'll be putting more. Half of the box is more or less completely assembled. Quick shot of what this looks like. Nice and flush. A little bit overhang for some sanding later. Same thing over here. And under there is the same thing in there. Marking out this is the baffle here I just screwed on with 4 screws for the moment. Makeshift compass. We've marked the center of where we want to cut out, which is we basically put the woofer in the center of the box this way, and then that's so 9 inches on an 18-inch box with the center, and then 9 inches this way. So this side, this spacing, and this spacing are all the same aesthetically. So I took the woofer cutout diameter, halved it, went from there to that hole, put the screw in the marked center, like that. Take a writing utensil. And then we do a sanity check with the tape measure. Make sure we're not out to lunch. Just under 14 inches is what we want. Okay, got the port in. Did a little thinking outside the box. This port happens to only be 3/4 inch wide. So just put a piece of scrap in and did it that way. Grr. And clamped it. Put the first 2 in to hold it in place. And that's that. Now we gotta cut the hole in the baffle for it. So here we've got the baffle. We're about to cut the port in. Drilled holes at both ends to make the ends easy for the flush trim bit. Now this part I would really recommend you seek other methods if you're not really comfortable or competent with a skill saw. So let's do it. Not recommended to do that at home, boys and girls. done. Boom shakalaka. That's what she looks like. Okay, so to finish off the port, I just ran flush trim router through here, make it all perfectly lined up with the inside. Okay, so I just countersunk the whole port area. Now I'm about to bevel the inside. That's how she's done. Not looking too shabby. Now it's time just to countersink the shit out of the whole thing. I got port beveled, and yeah, just countersink the whole thing. Montage time. The whole thing is disassembled right there. We're gonna do the first glue joint together. Take some glue, put her down what you're gluing together. Boop. Just like that. Boop, boop, boop. I'm just going to fill these with screws. Partway through here, just did the baffle, got the port in, it's all getting glued. And then I took some construction adhesive, this PL stuff, and instead of like this is more important in a sealed enclosure, but I like to do it here anyways, especially I like to show people that I do it, because if your carpentry skills aren't on point, then you get little bad. So I just did all my seams with a nice finger joint of that PL, and then when I put the back on, I'll be able to reach through there easily and do the other ones. Okay, just put on the back, glued her up, screwed her up, got the PL in there. She's looking good. We let her dry for 24 hours and get back to this in like 48 hours, because that's just how it works. We're back and today is tomorrow. So everything's chooched up inside, nice and hard. And I'm about to, well, there it is, belt sand the shit out of it. Let's go. Okay, just finished the belt sanding. Got everything flushed up. Bevels. Just done with the belt sander. Oh shit, looks very fly by the seat of my pants look. Type of look I'm going for this on this box and the amount of effort I want to put into it. Now I'm about to clean up a bit of the port. Okay, so I finished cleaning up the port with my hand file and a little bit of sandpaper. Now I'm going to give everything a once over with this orbital sander that has 220 grit on it, compared to like the 100 grit of that. And then we're going to clean up some of this dust and try our luck at painting this, but not with paint. Quick note here, done sanding. If the finish you're putting on the box is not what I'm doing, or carpet or something like that, and it's like a stain like other boxes I've done, I don't know if you can see it, but this cross grain sanding here from the belt sander, you would want to strongly avoid that because it'll show horribly in the finish, and avoid stuff like this. But this is not what I'm doing on this box. So let's go. Okay, we're ready for the first bit of paint. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna put some black spray paint inside the port so it looks all dark. This is the back of my beer pong table, so I'm not too worried to get some stuff on it. People seem to like to put gum and write funny things on here. Nick's was here. Screw Mike is written over there. Good enough for the girls I go out with. Collar done. So the plan for the actual exterior box is this stuff. Got this at Lordco. Easy liner. It says shake for 2 minutes before start applying. So I'm going to shake for 2 minutes. Okay, that's been like a minute and a half. I'm done. Honestly, I have no idea how this is gonna go. But let's quickly read some instructions. Blah blah blah. Spanisho. Clean, 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 clean. Shake for 16 seconds every 10 minutes of use. 20 and 30 degrees Celsius. Spray even coats with can to 10 to 15 centimeters from surface. Okay. 10 to 15 centimeters. It's not bad. Except for that runny spot. Now that you've kind of seen how a professional doesn't do it, I'm gonna get her done. So far this is going pretty well. Probably got about 80% of the can used on these 5 sides of the box. Honestly, so far it's been looking like a great product. Very sticky to the touch. So I got the heater on in here, and once she gets not so tacky, we're gonna do the underside. So far it's going really freaking good. We'll be back with that in a minute. So just let her dry for half an hour, flipped her over, did the back. Now that can, which was, whoop, where's our measurement? 467 grams. Covers this box, which is approximately, fuck, I don't want to do math on camera. What is this? 2 feet by 1.5 feet. So that's 3 feet, 3 feet. Let's call this 2 feet and 2 feet. So 6, 10, say 13.5, 14 square feet of coverage. Maybe a little less because to get the big 15-inch cutout out of that can, which it doesn't actually list the coverage, but it was doing good. So I got a bucket under there in the cutout, so the thing sits up a bit and can dry. And yeah, after this is all dry, I'll probably touch up some of these with either Sharpie or a bit of black spray paint. But other than that, we got like the 10 mils, and that would be like 10 thousandths of an inch, so 100 of an inch coverage of this coating. See, I wish I had like another 10% and then it'd be a little bit better, but I like how it came out. And then right at the end, we got some fibery stuff come out of the can, which I thought was kind of odd, but she's good. Let her dry up for 24 hours. So it's time to put some speaker wire through the box. Those little cup things, ABS plastic with push terminals, usually or screw terminals on them. Absolutely hate them because you got this thin little piece of plastic that's part of your box wall, and I'm not feeling that. I kind of gathered half this opinion on my own, and the other half was quite well expressed by Car Audio Fabrication, I think is the YouTube channel. He has a very popular video on it, and I kind of followed his lead on this one a little bit. Also a little bit of Steve Mead's style when he did his, like with bolts through the box. But anyways, we're just going to take my drill index and find the drill bit that fits the size kind of corresponding to the figure 8 kind of shape of the speaker wire. Drill 2 holes beside each other, fit it through. It's going to be real tight, and that's the goal. This here looks like the best corner. It's as good a spot as any. Oh fuck, I'm hitting a screw, I think. Nah, we'll live. Did I hit a screw? Just a little bit, but not enough to hurt the speaker cable. Yeah, this can be a bit tricky. Just like that. Same countersink bit. A bit of a bezel. Speaker cable. Nice and snug. Get the right amount of length out so it's easy to use your subwoofer basically. Just enough length. Perfect. Gonna get a nice helping of PL on this one. Seal that guy up. If you haven't been introduced yet, we have my 3 P315s, Kyle, Sarah, and Ella. Sarah's going to be going in the new box. Kyle and Ella are going to be staying together. Got the speaker cable spliced in. Jump the 2 T2 coils, and we're working at 4 ohms. We're gonna drop her in here. So just pre-drilled all 8 mounting points. Little drill bit, way smaller than the, not way smaller, but smaller than the diameter of the inner part of the screw by a little bit. Let's put the screws in. Screws are in, trim rings on. Too lazy to videotape that, sorry. She's looking good.
Just like you.
Aw, thanks, honey. Don't worry. Straight cruiser. Quick little demonstration. I hooked the sub and box up to my 12 volt system that's hooked into my home theater. You can, I have a video on that. You can go look at it. That would be last week's video. So here we go. Now to be clear, that little demonstration is probably running about 150-ish watts RMS. That's it. That sub takes 600. When we put it in the car, on the other amp I have for it, it's going to do much better, but that was just a little sneak peek. You'll probably see a different video about that sub playing if you're really interested about it. I might put a link in the description to it when it's finished. But other than that, that's the conclusion of the video. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, you can comment. If I can't answer them, I generally recommend looking at the SMD forum, but I can answer almost all basic and mid-level questions. I can't really design a custom box for you, but see what I have to say if you have any questions. Other than that, thanks for watching. Hope to see you next time.